let's make some coffee.
Sounds good. Good morning, guys. Welcome to episode 3 of Coffeehouse, the show where we talk about coffee and kendama and just whatever else, and we're sharing this conversation with you. We really love that you guys are interacting with us and we're getting involved and just having a good time talking to each other. Today, I think we're going to be talking about some dama travels and tell some personal stories and stuff like that, kind of entertaining and kind of fun. And I'd love for Chad to share what kind of coffee he's got this morning, because it's something a little different.
It is. So this was actually gifted to me from someone in Japan. If you know Ohana Noah on Instagram, her mom Mimi gave this to me. We're gonna
Thank you, low camera.
right there. So it says house blend, city roast.
So we know it's a blend of some sort.
It is a blend which doesn't tell us whether it's light, medium, or dark. Doesn't tell us where the coffee's from, country-wise, origin. I've had it before. I think it's a dark roast.
I'll say it's all in English.
It is in English, which you would not expect from a coffee that you received from Japan.
It says the website's roastcafe.net, so I feel like I've got to pull it up real quick just to see if I see anything. Nice pour.
All right, thank you. No spills today.
So I'm on roastcafe.net.
Oh, I spoke too soon.
Yeah, you did. Roastcafe.net is entirely in Japanese. So the coffee itself on the packaging is in English, but the website is very clearly in Japanese, and I see the house blend.
I wonder if it's marketed towards English speakers in Japan. I'm going to start my 4-minute timer.
I appreciate that. Yeah, unfortunately I can't translate this. I'd love to know. Oh, I selected it. House blend coffee. So, tell me a little bit more about this coffee. Like you said, you've had it before.
Yeah, I've had it
before. What should I expect?
It's definitely bold.
Bold?
It is bold.
It's got a bold tasting note.
It has I would say the tasting note's bold. There are no tasting notes on the packaging. But I had it at its, I guess, peak freshness right when I received it. I made a cup, and it was very strong, dark coffee.
Okay, so this is what I've got. I've translated from their website, and unfortunately, they don't list bold as a tasting note.
I thought for sure bold.
Good effort. So this is all I've got. House blend, roast cafe house blend, exquisite balance of sweetness. Wait for it. Sourness, bitter, and then scent.
That is like all the different.
So we're
wait, is it sweet, sour, and bitter?
It's a blend. It's a blend.
How can it be sweet, sour, and bitter? Like
I guess I'll find out.
Those are three. Like if you were to make a triangle of coffee, I guess like sharpness, or
it's just right
like,
smack in the middle.
I mean, it's like sweetness, sourness, and bitter are the opposites.
I wish it would have told me a little bit about where the beans came from, because I would be interested. I don't know where.
Well, I guess we can guess the.
If you're in Japan,
the origins of the coffee.
Yeah, that I'll definitely be able to tell. You know, a little bit of where the based on the dirt taste or whatever they do. Maybe we'll be able to do that. I don't know.
But it's really good coffee, and shout out to Japan.
Thanks, Japan.
All of Japan.
So let's talk about some dama travels. Let's start getting into it. And I'm trying to think.
We've had our fair share.
We've had a fair share. You've definitely traveled way more than I have.
I've played kendama for 8 years. 2019 will mark the 9th year.
What was the first dama travel you took? And I have to say, like, outside of at least Nashville, because
So Nashville would have been the first one.
I wish I knew why you'd say that.
The first real dama travel was in Atlanta, Georgia for Dama Fest 2011.
That makes sense.
And it's like a 4.5, 5-hour drive from here. And
a lot for a young Chad Covington.
It is, yeah, it was. Let's see, 2011, that would have meant I was 16. And
Fresh driver.
Yeah. And I actually didn't drive. I was riding with a family down, so we were still the kiddos going on a...
That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Drive mom crazy while you're clacking on the doms in the back seat.
Oh yeah, it was really exciting though, and as we were pulling into the venue, we started playing the soundtrack to Where We Are.
That's basically
that might have been 2013 actually. Thinking back, because maybe someone's gonna fact check me. Where We Are was uploaded in 2012 or something.
Chad is fake.
But playing kendama edit songs on the journey down is the best way to get in the mood. That has become the
tradition. I even, and we'll talk about this, but when we drove to IMCO for the first time, the last 45-minute stretch was just all like bangers.
Like last 12 hours stretch.
And we'll get into that too. So your first one was to Atlanta.
And what an amazing event to start out with. I think there was something over, in 2011, there was something over like 500 competitors, which is unreal.
It's hard to even imagine. Yeah,
and so for me, that was the first time that I had seen more than like 30 people playing kendama.
In one place.
Because in Nashville, the event was probably a little bigger than that, like 30 to 40 in Nashville, at my first ever kendama event. And, coffee time press. Yeah, and so going to Atlanta for Dama Fest, and there's like 500 people. It was like Alex Rausch from the Netherlands was there. Like
it was, I guess at that time, it would have been the biggest event.
The first 3 kendama pros were there. So it was just crazy to see in real life for the first time, like all the people that you see online, the YouTube videos, like seeing these people in real life.
This is before you were a more prominent member of the community.
Absolutely, but I still I still knew a lot of the people from online, and like they knew me and from sharing videos, and so it was still cool to like show up.
You knew some people.
Yeah, show up and to see someone for the first time, like Jake Weens. I got to meet him for the first time in 2011.
Stoked. I'll move this out of the way.
All right. Jake Weens,
like,
4th cup.
I feel like I've got the bigger cup, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah, but that's my coffee in there. You can't have that.
It's a dribble
whatever's left.
Wow, I can really smell the sour. No. I haven't taken a sip yet.
It's definitely bitter, but I mean that's generally a coffee.
I'm tasting green pepper.
Yeah, right?
It's more bitter to me than the last one was. Actually, than both of them have been.
I'm tasting chives and
chives. Yuck.
Interesting.
It's okay. Not in love with it. It's not terrible.
Yeah.
I gotta taste it some more, I think. They said we're actually filming it really early today, and so maybe I just haven't had my cup of coffee yet. But
I guess it says something that I've consumed the whole bag now. If it was something I didn't enjoy, I probably wouldn't have.
That's true. No, it's definitely
consumed the whole bag.
I know you enjoyed it, and like honestly, there's no bad coffee.
It's no Soul Blend, but we need to put the Soul Blend on the rack.
I must need it hanging out.
Yeah,
that's right. Some bean art.
So yeah, first Dama travel, Dama Fest 2011.
Anything notable in between then and when we started Soul?
Dama Fest 2013.
Too bad
both of the Dama Fest
stopped the events. You should have kept it rolling.
Put the pressure on. Yeah. So go over to Kusa and comment on everything.
Give me event.
Dama Fest, bring it back. Dama Fest 2019.
That could be pretty rad.
It happened in November, and then it also happened in May. So there was 2 different time frames that it happened. So who's to say it can't happen any time of year?
Who's to say? Maybe we need to collab with Kusa and just do the event.
Dama Fest.
We host the event, but call it
2.0.
Yeah.
Kendama USA is Dama Fest, hosted by Soul. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
It'd be funny.
But it was like one of the greatest events I've ever been to. It was kind of like, it was the first time there was a cash prize with a kendama event. It was $1,000. And like back then, like that's unheard of.
Yeah.
So between Dama Fest 2011, 2013, that's when we started hosting Battle at the Border, me and my friends. And then after Dama Fest 2013 was the first kendama event that I flew to.
Which was?
Spotown Throwdown 2. And that one was the one we talked about, Kendamico. I was sponsored. Jake and I flew out together.
That's right.
And that was the I mean, so Dama Fest was the first real event, and that was the first time where I was like,
Okay.
Whoa.
Traveling's
flying.
cool.
I mean, you get like we flew from Kentucky all the way
Technically
out
Nashville.
to Washington State. Actually, Cincinnati.
Oh, Cincy. So yeah, it was Kentucky. Shows how much I know.
And the Cincinnati, Ohio airport is in Kentucky, so.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
it could have even been Ohio technically.
Yeah.
Yeah, we flew all the way to Washington, and that was just so unreal. And
that's a long flight.
There's a very, very, very sharp difference between West Coast kendama and East Coast kendama,
which is interesting.
Two very different scenes, because you go to a big event here, completely different group of people at a big event there.
Yeah.
And so it was really exciting, and definitely some old school events, but since then have driven several hours.
Yeah, so we'll get into
several states.
I ended up starting Soul Kendamas. It was 2014, and after that we were looking for like events to go to and stuff like that, but not much happens unless you're making it happen. But coincidentally, which was I always screw up the names. What was the first Ohio one?
There's so many. There's Dama Dreams, and then
that's the one I was thinking of.
Winter Slinger.
But wasn't there a Park Dama? Didn't they call it it was a Park Dama something?
Park Dama Winter Slinger.
Oh, was that what it was?
I think.
So I think, but the first one that we go to, it wasn't like midwinter or anything. It was probably in the fall. But I don't remember what the first one we went to.
There was probably, I think we went to 6 of the events total.
It was quite a bit.
That.
And it was early on. It was like within our first 6 months of starting. So it had to have been in the fall. So I'm thinking it must have been Winter Slinger.
Autumn.
It must have been.
Something.
And so I like to talk a little bit about that because that was the first time I had gotten to do a Dama travel, and it wasn't like a legendary event like that.
But
in contrast,
still
but the
notable.
experience itself was really fascinating.
Yeah.
So Chad and I were at college at the time. We just started the kendama thing. We had gotten our kendamas together, our bags together, everything like that. Everything was going well. Like we were having fun with it, and so we wanted to go up to an event in Vend. Never done it before, and honestly, never even been to Ohio before that moment. Maybe you had.
I think I'd just been to Cincinnati, but I had not been north of that.
And so we had heard of this Sling. What was it? Winter Sling.
It was either Park Dama.
Let's make up a name and just roll with it.
Park Dama Winter Slinger.
Okay, we're gonna call it Park Dama Winter Slinger Dreams. No. So we had a contact, and the contact in Ohio was Brandon Yoder.
Well, actually,
right?
so it was a Facebook event page that I got invited to or saw on the Facebook Kendama community.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, hey, this looks like it was within driving distance, 5 hours. I'm like, you want to go? And we talked about it, and I looked through. He's like, yeah, but like, where are we gonna stay? Obviously, we didn't want to like drop money on a hotel.
We were trying to keep it very low.
Then again, I was 18 and you were 19. Could we have even like gotten a hotel
we could have
room?
gotten a hotel
Maybe.
room.
Apparently now it's like 21 is
really?
like the cutoff. But we were looking through the list of people attending, and there was one name that was familiar. It was Brandon Yoder. I just seen it.
And he's the one, in case you know of him, who did Avid
Kendama.
Avid Kendama. But that was down the road.
Kendama
he did
drama
do Kendama Drama,
blog.
which was a what do you even call it? It was a blog where he had gotten news from everybody across the board of kendama. So it was kind of like Ku said something new, Sweet said something new, Soul had something new or whatever, and he would bring it all in one place, aggregate it, and it was videos and pictures and stuff like that of posts and tricks and everything else. And later ended up doing Avid. But anyway, so Brandon was our singular contact, and had you ever even spoken to him before?
I hadn't spoken to him.
So he had just recognized the name.
The name was familiar from like the online videos and everything that we just
had you talked to him about us going there before we left?
Yeah, like
okay, so
no, we like talked maybe a week or two before.
Got
like,
it. Okay.
Hey, we want to come up. Like, do you like? Is there anywhere we can stay? Yeah.
And so that was the extent of it. And I remember you had class kind of late, right? That
1 to 5, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
And so 5 p.m. Eastern.
That was one class, not all of my classes.
Right. Yeah.
So I probably had an 8 a.m. that morning too.
And so you got out of your class, and I was good to go. I had probably packed the damas and stuff like that. And by the time he got home from his class, we might have eaten dinner real quick or thought about getting on the road. But anyway, we leave about 5:30ish Eastern, and we just go. And keep in mind, this is at least a 5-hour drive, and of course we're going to stop. And drove through Troy, Ohio. I don't know why that was so funny when we did, but it was a really funny thing.
I guess Troy, because Troy Montegude.
I guess it must be, so there you go, Troy. You get your shout out.
It's Troy, Ohio.
But every time after that, it became like an in-joke to stop in Troy. So we're driving, and man, Ohio, like, God bless your souls, but it is a that is a boring state to drive through. And I didn't realize at the time. Chad was like, yeah, we're going up to Ohio for this event. And I kind of just, you know, I was tagging along. I didn't really do much planning or anything. And so I didn't realize that it was at the very top of Ohio, just south of Akron.
Northeast.
Yeah, New Philly. And it was...
Javin always jokes, it's an hour and a half from Cleveland, an hour and a half from Columbus, an hour and a half from, I mean,
it's just
all
like out here.
in the middle,
Yeah, and so it was a long drive, and it was getting dark, and it was just so much corn. Like, it was just like on each side of the road, on every side of the road, all I could see was corn. And what's kind of funny is, like, we got really far, and we were maybe out maybe an hour or so, and we ran into Nick, and I can't remember his other name, at the gas station. You remember that?
Whoa!
You remember that, right?
What?
Yeah, you remember. I know you remember.
Yeah. That's insane.
There's two guys who are also going to the event who are also from Kentucky.
Yeah.
And we randomly saw them at the gas station. We're like, wait a minute, and they're looking at us like, and we're like, yeah, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like, we'll see you guys tomorrow or whatever.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, and so that was just a fun fact. But
TJ Harris came with us too.
The first one?
Yeah, the first one. Yes.
Really?
So TJ drove from home
Poor TJ.
to college, 3.5 hours.
How old was he at the time? 15? 14?
I was 18, so he would have been 14. Yeah. Because him and Kendall are the same.
You
age.
sure he was at the first one?
He was, because look, TJ came to college. We're 3.5 hours north of his home, and then we drove to Columbus and picked up Evan Hatton at his college.
That is true. I do remember that now.
So there was more planning, I think, than you like.
Well, like I said, I was tagging along.
And this is why we ended up so late, because we stopped at Columbus.
That's right, and the campus was going nuts.
So insane.
It was like Friday night, and the dorms were all crazy, and a million people coming and going, and co-ed sports, the soccer games were going on, and stuff like that. And we finally found Evan. I don't know. We had gone inside the dorm. I don't even know how we were allowed to go in the dorm, but we went inside the dorm. We were like the third story.
Dorms at UK, you have to like.
It's locked down.
You give your ID to the person at the front desk, and you have to be with the person who is like you are their guest.
They know who's in there. They know who's
leaving. And then when you leave, you take the card out. We walk into Ohio State. We parked in front of the dorm, which you can't.
There's no parking available.
Park at colleges.
Yeah.
We park in front of the dorm. Get out. We just walk in the door like nobody's in the lobby. And just a bunch of students.
It's just chaos. Just everybody's going in every different direction. Ohio State is a lawless place. That's all I'm saying.
It seemed like it, man.
So we finally got Evan in, and he was cracking us up like on the drive up. And TJ was so intimidated. He's a 14-year-old. This was the funniest thing. He's a 14-year-old. You know,
he was talking our ear off from Lexington to Columbus.
He would not shut up, and like he just had so much to say. He was so excited. Evan gets in the car, and I think Evan might have been drinking a little bit, and he was having a good time. But he gets in the car, and we're just talking everything, and TJ has shut down. He does not say a single
TJ's
word.
TJ's in this side of the car, and then Evan kind of took over the conversation.
And Evan's like leaning up against the window, and he's going, "Man, the stars look really good tonight."
he was taking an astrology. He was taking an astronomy course, and he was just like. He was feeling the space that night.
That was too funny. And TJ was just like looking over at this guy who's like admiring like the little dipper and stuff, and like
psycho.
Yeah. And so we're driving and stuff. I forgot all about that. And then we meet the guys at the gas. Then we keep going. And anyway, so we're on the road, and we didn't know exactly where we were staying at that point. And
we did, but
not really. We never met them, never been there.
So Brandon gave us a contact, said, "Hey, you're gonna be staying with this guy, Logan.
Logan Leisure.
He doesn't have a phone right now." Or no. Okay, he did. He was like, "Hey boys, I'm not gonna be there till 11," and because originally we thought we were gonna get there at like 10, because of the time.
Or even earlier. I can't remember what we were thinking.
Yeah, Logan's like, I can't be there till 11. Here's someone else, but they don't have a phone right now. You have to message them through Facebook or Instagram. And we were like, this is so weird. What? And so then it was Javin. We had to message through like Instagram or Facebook, and we were gonna meet at a bank, which is their jam spot because it's really good lighting, and like a common place, I guess. And so we were driving up, not knowing where we were staying. We knew that there was a place that would become available whenever we arrived. Didn't know where it was, and like we had received the address just to the bank initially.
I think we ended up going to the bank first.
Maybe. I remember showing up straight to.
Well, one way or
Logan's
another, we
house.
must have gotten his address, and
Yeah.
so we were driving, and he lives in like a not really a suburb, but it was kind of just obviously a neighborhood area. And we were pulling up, and it was like pretty dark out. Like, you know, it was late, and like everybody had turned their lights off.
12 even.
And never met these people, and they had never met us. You know, so it was like both strangers coming together to stay sleep in the same household. You know, they didn't know we weren't going to kill them, and we didn't know that they were going to kill us. Yeah. So anyway, we pull up, and it's real quiet and everything. But they've got a fire pit going in the back, which we can hear. I think we end up going in like the front door.
To be honest, there's like 6 or 7 people around the fire when we arrived.
Really, yeah. And so we go in, and they're like, "Hey, what's going on? We got some pizza. If you want some pizza, you got that. If you want, some sodas over here, and all this kind of stuff." And they were like super open arms, super welcoming. We were like, "We have come to the right place." You know what I mean? And
like, to be honest, we were all like, "I want to go to sleep."
We were destroyed from the driving.
We immediately there's like 6 or so people around this fire.
We said hey to everybody.
They all introduced, like really nice, like eager, and then we just go in the house, and I think we just stayed in the house.
Slept in the basement.
For the rest of the night, we didn't like go back out to the fire, but we were just so tired from like the 6-hour journey.
Traveling, and TJ had been at least go 9 and 10 hours at least in the car.
And
so we hit the hay pretty early.
Yeah,
well,
no, Logan was kind of explaining. He's like, our house is the house that everyone comes to
hang out with
every weekend, right. And like the mom and the dad were just like anything out of the refrigerator that doesn't have a name on it, take
all
it.
Yours.
Take it. And we were just like, what?
We wake up and they had like rows of donuts out and like all this breakfast food. It's just like
Steinek's Bakery.
Man.
And it is now out of business.
We got to enjoy it.
Which is sad, but it was one of those places where you could get like a dozen donuts for like $3.
That's why it's out of business.
Maybe, but
please take our donuts.
Yeah, we woke up the next morning. They're like, "You want coffee? Do you want like this? We got donuts. I can make omelets." Like, just
going from living in a college apartment, where you literally have to make everything yourself and it's all like work. Man, it was like to wake up and they're like, "We made you coffee. We got you donuts. You want some eggs? We got a bagel." You know what I mean?
We need to do this more often.
I am in heaven right now, and that was a great event. It ended up going really well for us. Everybody had heard of us, which felt crazy to me because we were brand new, and at the time on Instagram we maybe had 3,000 followers or something like that.
I mean, 2.
Yeah,
maybe, 1,500.
But we show up and everybody's like, "Are you guys Soul Kendamas?" And I'm like, "Why, yes, we are." Yeah, and I hadn't really talked FaceTime with many kendama players. We'd send emails and stuff like that, and like, "Thank you for buying" on packages, but like, hadn't had a whole lot of time to talk to actual kendama players, so that was a nice experience. But to go to a stranger's house, not really meet them before, show up at 11:30. And then have like such an opening,
such an incredible time. That was like
the Leisures,
that dama experience.
That is something I will always look fondly on because we returned back to their house every time we went to Ohio. We'd end up at the Leisures, and every single time was just the best,
phenomenal. Yeah,
the best.
And there was always the one guy who was Jacob, I think. Jake was always there, no matter what, in the morning, at night.
Dude went to school in Akron, and somehow
it's like 45 minutes north of.
Somehow, every time we showed up, Jake's
always there.
And we didn't really hang out with Jake that much. We got our kendama thing to do, and like we're busy. But every time we see
Jake,
"What's up, Jake? How's it been, buddy?"
He's like, "Oh, it's been good. Akron, like."
Jake's not the type to really complain. You know what I mean? He's just like easy going. He's going with the flow. He's gonna
living life.
So that was my first like dama travel, and it was a really good experience. I mean, thank you Leisures for like making that so awesome. But
yeah, what a wonderful.
I'm trying to think of some other ones.
This was a little note on the event. Brandon is a graphic designer. He went to school, and he was in school.
He's a really good,
really talented. Let me look him up. And he made the flyers for these events, and the flyers always the really cool graphics. He does a lot of like hand lettering now, but he didn't have our logo, so he made the logo
himself
for their flyer.
Yeah.
And he forgot to put the tomahole at the bottom because he just didn't see it or recognize it, or like I guess he was just so busy with everything didn't realize.
That's so funny. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and so it was funny because we actually ended up going back to him. You originally designed our logo with
It was a disaster. I don't want to talk about it. It was bad.
You hadn't even like taken any classes. This is like YouTube level Photoshop.
It really was. And you got to do what you got to do.
Did you do it on Illustrator or YouTube?
No, Photoshop.
It was Photoshop.
I didn't even know Illustrator existed.
So Shelton made our original logo there, and then we took it to Brandon to clean it up.
And I talked to him kind of about what I wanted, and he cleaned it up. He took it and ran with it. But Brandon Yoder, he's on Instagram. It's Brandon Yoder, BRANDONYODER. If you want to go check out some of his stuff, it's really, really good. Like the lettering and stuff, he's very talented. But yeah, he's the man.
And so he was like our contact for going up to the event. Like we literally only saw him at the event, and then I think he came over to the Lasers afterwards, and we had dinner. And,
for a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's the man.
He is.
What's another one? So we obviously got the MKO coming up.
Yeah.
Was there something else?
So let's see. We did that type of journey like at least 4 or 5 times.
Oh, we got the summer tour and then so let's roll through this. Yeah. So MKO 2015, I think that's what it was. Yeah, it had to have been. It wasn't 2014.
I've now been to.
Because we didn't sponsor 2014.
I've now been to 5 MKOs. So 14 was the first one we went to as
really
sold.
14 and 15. So I hadn't been to an MKO in a while. I guess that might be right. We'll just roll with it just to say that that's the case.
Did you go to 14 and 15?
I was at
14.
2. I went to
14
2.
was the Holiday Inn one. That was the one we drove to.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm an old man. So 2014, we had made plans to go to MKO. Once again, we're still strapped on a budget. We just started. We're like 4 months in, 5 months in, something like that. 4 months in? Yeah.
June.
And so we didn't have much money to fly, and we had enough for the hotels, luckily. But we're like, okay, well, we'll drive. And we're like, we need to find a way to like have a bunch of people with us so that we can like make it cheaper for everybody, just like everyone else does when they go to events. And so we're thinking, who can we bring? Well, we were like, TJ Harris came with us to Ohio. He seems like he would enjoy it.
Well, it was crazy because we were like, the tier, if you're looking at the map, Evan.
Well, let's keep adding who joined us and then go.
So Evan TJ, you and me, and then Will Marr, and then Jake.
Yeah, so that was the whole crew who ended up joining with us. It was Evan DeRuby, TJ Harris, both of us, Will Marr, who was from Lexington at the time.
Richmond, Kentucky.
Yeah, didn't really know him that well, and then Jake Fisher, of course, you guys know. And so the idea was Evan was going to.
So Evan drove 4 hours from Kingsport to Guthrie.
Which was really kind of out of the way. If you look at a map, Knoxville to Lexington's a lot faster than going all the way back to Guthrie.
It's like 4 hours.
It's out of the way.
4 hours or so. So he drives 4 hours to Guthrie. From Guthrie to Lexington, 3.5 hours, where we then rent an SUV because none of us had a big enough vehicle to carry.
And the Hertz lady was really rude. I just want to point that out. Don't rent from Hertz because she was very, very rude.
Well, you don't have many options after Hertz.
That's true.
Enterprise, but so Evan was the only one old enough to rent. He might have even been 24 at the time.
And he rented it.
He was just, it was like the oldest of us. He rented, and then Will Marr drove 45 minutes from Richmond to Lexington.
And from there, we all left together, and it's probably
then we went to Cincinnati.
It was probably about 2 o'clock, because I got out of my 1 o'clock, my science, my physics class.
I feel like it was a lot later than that.
Maybe.
Maybe I left class early.
I think you did.
1 to 5.
I really think you did.
Yeah, let's say it's 3. But we actually, we received an order
That's right.
at like 3, and it was like
it was a shipment of kendamas.
We were hoping these kendamas would come in time for MKO.
So they showed up at the door,
and so we literally just like scrambling to get all of the.
That makes me think you skipped your class to get it together.
I didn't skip it. I definitely left.
I had an exam.
Early.
No, I had an exam the week after. Okay, so yeah, so we ended up driving.
I'll probably went
and then we drive another hour up to Jake's.
Hour and a half to Jake's.
Picked him up at his house.
And then from there it was 12 hours to MKO.
And we have made stops, here and there, and it started to snow in Chicago.
It was so miserable. It was so awful.
It was a crazy, crazy, crazy drive. And so we had driven.
Chicago was so cold.
Yeah, Chicago was very cold. And we were kind of bypassing it. So, even so, we were still going like left around it. And then it came up and
hitting
then left.
all of the toll roads.
Hit every single toll road. And so we had this long drive. It was like 15 hours, something like that. And we get in the hotel room. We're all packed in there and like got in maybe like 5 a.m., 4 a.m.
4:30 or 5.
Fell asleep. Well, we wake up at 8, and it's Will Scheibe waking up Evan DeRuby because they hadn't seen each other in like a long time.
But this is also TJ, because they were doing a news episode at the Rotunda. TJ didn't sleep. Like, he and I think Jake went straight from this crazy drive right to the mall. And you and I, like, we're getting
That's
sleep.
some young blood energy right there.
And then we just got, shook
and
away.
we were driving
from
quite a bit too.
Shivey woke up, 8 a.m., start the day. We're like, 3 hours. Shelton and I look at each other. Like,
we're like, how do these people do this?
What? And the day just kind of started there with like 3 hours of sleep on.
Over Friday to Saturday. So we did the full Saturday event, and then I think Sunday there was a little bit, but I think at the time that was a one-day event still, right?
It was. There was 1 day at the mall.
And so Sunday we
1 day at the mall.
Sunday
That's
we had
crazy.
originally planned to leave, I think about 9 a.m., which would give us 12 hours, 9 p.m., and then we'd get back and we could get a decent amount of sleep before Monday. And Monday I had an exam at 8 a.m. and so I really wanted to get a little sleep.
I had class at 8 as well.
Well, we didn't end up leaving until 1 or 1:30 dama lag.
Yeah.
Partly blame Jake Fisher. Sorry, Jake. And so we ended up leaving.
To be honest, Shelton, you were the only one that was like ready to go, and like the rest of the passengers were like.
It was a fight.
And Evan was like, responsible Evan should leave.
Yeah.
But irresponsible Evan says, let's stay a little longer. I think everyone was kind of like...
And 1:30 was a real compromise. That was like 4 hours later, and I was like, okay, seriously, I'm sweating bullets.
But
I've got this big exam tomorrow. I've got to go do it.
All of us, it was the first time seeing the sweet shop. We just had to do it.
I get it.
Yeah.
But anyway, we finally leave, and we're going back, and we're like, drop Jake off, finally, and that's like the first destination 12 hours later, And then,
how late was that
and
already?
Then,
like, that was already...
Wilmar was balling. He helped us drive for a little bit, and dude, he was smashing through it. Thank you, Will. And then finally got back, and I think we got back like 5 or 6 a.m., 7 a.m., and then I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna shower and go to my exam.
And Evan, we invited Evan. We're like, Evan, you can sleep if you want, and then take the drive.
I was like, please sleep.
He's like, if I sleep, I'm gonna be more tired, and so he just. He still had to drop TJ off and then go back
to pick up. Yeah, that's right.
So he
did
just yeah.
You sure? I don't think he did. I think he drove his truck back to Kingsport, and TJ's mom came and picked him up from Lexington.
Oh.
Yeah, that 100% happened. Yeah, but because I can't imagine him doing another 7 hours. Maybe I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, Evan, just come into chat. I'll pin your comment because I'm an idiot if I screwed that up. But you're a savage either way. So yeah, that was that trip, which was nuts, and it was a really fun time.
We've never driven to MKO since.
I swore on my dead body, on everything that I hold dear to me, that I will never ever drive 15 miles to MKO again, ever again.
15 miles, that's a lot.
Sorry. That's how fried, my brain is fried to this day. I will never,
15 hours.
Ever. I was like, I will borrow against my future to fly. I will do whatever it takes, because I'm not doing it again.
Oh, man.
But it was, I look back finally like, that was a fun experience.
It's kind of like 28 tricks later, like you're like
the grind is real.
Halfway through, you're like, I'm never doing this again, and then next year rolls around, and you're like, oh sure, I'll do it.
Yeah,
like,
28 tricks later. Yeah.
It's already, we're already what, like how many days in? 10 or 8?
I wouldn't know.
8 days in.
0 tricks later.
Yeah. 28 tricks later. Crazy.
So next we got Soul Summer Tour. This ended up happening 2016. I think that's right. So 2016, we were both still in college. That was actually my last year in college, and it was the spring before the summer. So it was the spring semester, 2016, and we had this idea. I don't know. We both probably came up with it together. I mean, it's just like, hey, it'd be really fun if we did a summer tour, and
and it was to release the Soul Vibes.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. So we had put all this time into designing them with the team and getting everything in place, and like finally we're like, we need a way to promote it. Well, what's better than doing a bunch of dama travels? And so we had made this plan, and the plan was every single weekend up until exam week. I think we took off the exam week. It was the May 7th or something.
That was smart planning on our part.
I guess.
But then we did, I think, 2 weeks into the summer.
Actually, it was 3 actually.
3. Wow.
Yeah, and so every single weekend up into exams and then into the summer, we would go drive to a new location, and we try to hit 2. It's Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday, I mean, to do a dama event. And so I'm going to go ahead and just read the locations and just tell you exactly how it went down. So it started off in April 16th, and it was Muncie, Indiana, and that was the first stop we made, and we'll go back and reflect on each after I get through the list. Chicago, Illinois.
So that was
the 16th, 16th, 17th.
Friday, Saturday, or Saturday,
I think it was Saturday, Sunday. Friday, get up there, stay the night, and then the next day.
Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we drove Saturday morning to to Muncie. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So Muncie, Indiana, and then Chicago, Illinois, and then 23-24 Wyandotte, Michigan, which is the DKT guys, and that kind of group. We did it at Glowfish. Then Florence, Kentucky, and we talked about that as kind of a bus, but it's not much in Kentucky. So then 4:30, we went back to New Philly, which at that point was kind of like a consistent place to go. We were like, yeah, gotta stop in New Philly. And then the day after that was Pittsburgh, which is where Cal Nassar was from, and we got to visit with him and
Luke Evans.
Luke Evans, who does grip or did grip.
Skagline too.
Skagline was there, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he was newly on the team at that point, right? Or am I wrong? Maybe a little bit.
A little new.
He had the
Yeah, he had a.
God, that's great. And then the weekend after that, we did our exams and wrapped up in school. You know, smart boys. After that, 5:14 and 5:15, it was Chattanooga, Tennessee, which was RWB, and I think a couple other guys from Coosa showed up, Ryan Plord. And then 5:15 was Fort Payne, Alabama, which is super low key. I mean, it was where Alex Mitchell was, which is really good for us.
We had to. I mean, he wasn't on the team.
We went to the dude's hometown, basically. And we got to do a really cool visit there. But then 5:28 was Marietta, Georgia, Lyndon Whalen. And then finished off in our home area, June 4th, Nashville, Tennessee. And that was when I started getting busy at work.
Yeah, so you weren't at that
So I wasn't at that one. But that was the full tour, and it was nutty. Like, it was crazy. Let's start with Muncie and talk about that.
Yeah.
Because that even today, that has affected what our plans is, that visit in Muncie.
Yeah.
You realize that?
What do you mean it's
a collab?
Affected our...
Oh, we haven't announced it, have we? No, it's
well, yeah, there was announcement.
Yeah, so because of this visit, we've got a collab today in 2019
which
coming
is
along.
Exciting.
Yeah, 3 years later.
So Muncie,
Cool.
the only inkling in Indiana we had towards a Kendama event was with Adam Strong.
That's right.
And I think we went to him during the planning process. We were like...
Which is very important that we did this, because if we did not go to Adam, we would have been in deep trouble, because we didn't know where exactly to go. Our first thought was Indianapolis.
And it would have been a bus.
I think that's where he's from, right? Or where he was living or something.
Everyone would say Indianapolis.
Yeah, it's kind of just like,
city, but
that's
like,
how we do with Nashville.
Yeah,
Nashville.
Nashville, but for like 30 people to drive an hour, that's, you know. So yeah, we asked Adam, like, hey, is there, first of all, is there a Kendama scene? Because we knew he was there. He was like, dude, actually, it's like, there's a lot of players.
It's kind of going on a little bit.
Yeah, we're like, cool.
Great.
Where should we have it? He threw out 2 cities. He was like, Anderson or Muncie. And
I think we researched parks, and that's why we didn't pick Anderson. Because Muncie had such a nice...
It seemed like Muncie had a really nice... What was the name of those gardens?
Oh, I can't even think of it.
It might have been the Muncie Gardens or something like that. And so we ended up having it in Muncie, and there was probably like 25, 30 people there.
At least.
The first stop, and it was like...
It was pretty high energy, and these guys were like ready to freaking go. I think they were like, it was like, you know, you're so
they
far...
They never heard of Kendama events.
Heard of Soul, heard of events, heard of anything, and like, I guess word got out that there was this Kendama thing, so they all...
Adam and
these guys were like, the people in Muncie were freaking juiced. They were like, it was like, these are younger guys, probably in high school mostly, and they were in their spring semester, you know, you're kind of like, get it over with, kind of, and they were looking forward to summer, and it was a nice sunny day. I know, because I got roasted that day.
So bad the first day of the summer tour.
And and these guys were just like, they came out and they were excited, high energy, and it was the best. And we met.
Successful. We met, why is
Firstly Dirty.
Alex Morton. Sorry.
I got his art right here.
He just pointed at me.
I was like, help me,
gosh.
save me. No, I know who you are, Alex. So this is some art that Alex did. He gave away at Battle of War. Focus, baby. Oh wait, we're manual focus. It says Battle, and it's a bunch of Kens that look like spaceships. It's really cool.
Yeah, and he rolled up to the jam, I kid you not, with a suitcase. And it's like it's like this big. And
we were both like,
Sean, what'd you bring? And he goes,
it's a camera.
He goes, I found this camera at an antique mall yesterday. And he goes, I'm still trying to figure it out. He opens the suitcase and this like camera pops up.
It's super mechanical, like tons of stuff going on.
He was like,
inside.
we need to do the group photo with this, and we're like, we'll do a couple test shots, and he just like sets it on our table, and he like he starts cranking. And like that's how you know it's
He took a picture of me, and I was sitting there like holding a Kendama out talking to somebody. I've got it sitting around here somewhere. I don't know where it is. I think it's upstairs. And
yeah, I got mine too.
It just looks like an old timey Polaroid, basically.
It's
a bit washed out.
It's like old school Polaroid, but it is a suitcase.
They just showed, I didn't know what to expect, to be honest. I was like, man, Indiana's weird, but like it was a really cool thing. Like,
he also gifted us some wooden yo-yos and then some artwork that.
Yeah, he was talking to us. So this is really fun. Like he was talking to us, talking to me a little bit about how we made kendamas and that kind of thing, and like a mix of like inspiration on like how is it done and like what can I expect and that kind of thing. And he was talking to me and he's like, hey man, I think I'm gonna start a yo-yo company. What do you think? I was like, I think you should do it. If you want to do it, you should do it. And
was he starting then?
Yes. He had the ideas in his head, and he was showing me
He's such
art.
an idea man.
He is. He's a visionary for sure. And he was going through and he's talking about like the types of woods and where he's going to get it from. And I think at one point, I don't know if this is true, if maybe it's a trade secret and I shouldn't say it, but he was getting cabinet wood from somebody, and he was gonna. His idea was like he was going to take this free cabinet wood and cut it down into a yo-yo and then put it on the bearing and that kind of thing. And I was like, loved the idea of it. I was like, totally do it, 100%. And it's like cool to think about.
He makes metal ones now.
I just want to pretend that I had some kind of like influence on that, but I realistically did not. He had already figured it all out.
All of his packaging now is vacuum sealed, which is like
he's got it down. Proud of you, Alex. Good job.
Crazy stuff. He actually came to us that day. He's like, I want to create kendama deodorant.
Oh yeah,
and this was before conditioner was a thing.
We should have bounced on that. It's like we were just like
he's like kendama players, yo-yo players, they stink, they sweat. And he goes kendama deodorant.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know how, but
yeah. So after that, we finished that day, and I was roasted, and we
decided. So we drove that morning from Lexington straight to Muncie, and then decided to go straight to Chicago.
Didn't really feel like staying in Muncie. It was great, but like it was kind of like It
was also Chicago.
Chicago.
Like let's go to Chicago.
The place we had driven past when it was snowing. Hey, it's warm now. Maybe we should go visit the place. And so we drove a strip to Chicago, and
no hotel reservations, no plans.
We were basically downtown. I think we weren't very far from the museum, or is it a museum or stadium down there by the river, by the water?
At all.
Well, we were downtown. It was pretty busy. Showed up, I think, about 5 o'clock, maybe 6, and it was traffic.
I was thinking like 8 or 9.
Maybe so. Well, the traffic was still nuts. I couldn't believe it. But we ended up staying.
It was dark.
We stayed at a nice hotel, which was a total splurge for us because, like I said, we've been couch surfing this whole time and stayed at this nice Chicago hotel, and it was like sunburn, long day of driving, like pure.
There was a Lakina too. It wasn't like.
Yeah, it
was nice. It felt nice, but it also wasn't like.
Realistically, it was a regular hotel.
I
don't want to blow it out of proportion. I just had a place to sleep, and it was like, this is nice.
Yeah.
So we did that, and then we woke up the next day super well rested and stuff, and then we went out to the park, which is where we were going to have the thing.
We went to a different park. We went to a different park up the street. We filmed my trick for the Soul Vibe edit, and then we also
by the water, just some stuff.
Photos and just some like footage for the
B-roll.
We made a tour video.
Yeah,
and so
I'll link that in the description as well.
We're just like filming the tour video, and then we went up to the park and got set up. And
and it was funny because like. I guess we didn't really think logistically of like how big this park was, and so like we were kind of out in one space, and then it suddenly became my job to go around and fish for people who looked like they played kendama.
We started like doing like spacewalks and stuff to get people's attention.
Yeah, and I think I ended up seeing Claire Fuller and her dad.
Yeah.
Because I was running around, I was like, hey, I recognize you.
Then the Windy City kendama guys as well.
Yeah.
If we do another jam in Chicago, definitely a low key park because we were in the city.
And there was a million people doing yoga. People
parking is expensive.
Yeah.
Like we like we know better next time.
Yeah.
But, it was fun. I mean, although like
a decent group there,
the pictures and the videos just like skyscrapers around you, and it's like Chicago's big city.
It's a nice area.
So, like,
and so we did that, and then at that point we're coming back. We rest through the week. I say rest. I mean we were still like working out during the week and doing school and stuff like that. And then after that, sorry, I dropped my picture off. We went to Wyandotte, Michigan the next weekend, and that's always a good time.
Yeah.
I mean,
the Glowfish Studios is up there. It's like a kendama hot spot.
It's like how do we say this? It's like a boutique meets like art place meets like
it started
hobby store.
It started as art studio, and then they've kind of expanded to this kind of like novelty shop.
Retail merchandise.
With for the longest time a strong focus on kendama. They had like the whole back room was kendama, and then it was like this section was kendama, and now it's like a couple shelves.
Yeah, and so we went and did that. And we were in a park kind of close to that, and did a bunch of mini games and things like that.
Park.
That was really fun. And then after that,
that was definitely one of the most successful.
Stayed the night over there, right? I can't remember who we stayed with though.
Where did we go the next night?
Florence. Did we return back to Lexington and then go back up?
No, because we were gonna work our way down. Wyandotte.
But Florence wasn't that far from Lexington.
Did we stay at Ian's house?
No. I don't remember. If you're in the comments and you know where we stayed.
Where did we stay?
I don't know. Anyway, we'll move on. The Florence stop, once again, it was okay. Like, we had maybe like 10 people there, and it was kind of just like a super nice day at the park, and like we were sitting down in the grass enjoying ourselves, and had a few people come jam dama and gave away some prizes. And honestly, I was pretty tired at that point. Like, I think they had caught up to me these past 3 events, and they were big events.
I was still rolling through.
Chad feeds off of dama energy, like at events. Like, don't stand too close, because he's just like,
I don't know about that.
Yeah. That's a kind of stretch. No, but you definitely bounce off of people. Like, you go to events, every event you leave, you've got no
Kendama
voice.
Events is my favorite thing about Kendama.
Yeah, and so after that, the next week in New Philly, that's always a jam. I think we had a little bit of rain, like sprinkles there.
We did, yeah.
But
and it was another good. It was another
the legendary
good jam.
Part of that jam was it was a 1v1 Ken Javin and I think Cam, but maybe Ian.
Gage.
Oh, Gage. And Javin landed a triple stilt flip just like in the
game of Ken.
And everybody was watching, and it was a rager.
Oh,
it was crazy.
This was when Snapchat had stories, Instagram didn't. We were doing like Smash Bros themed Snapchats, and it was like the clip. It was like dun, 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 and then it was like Javin trip stilt flip, spike, and then pan over to Gage, zoom in on his face. He's like. He was not hyped on it, but the games of Ken were really crazy.
They were savage.
And we actually did a Ken tournament at every single stop. Was like the grand event.
Yeah, and then so we did New Philly, and the next was Pittsburgh, which was crazy. A lot of younger crowd there, and it was just had a lot going on.
It was mixed because there were some older guys as well.
Yeah, I just distinctly remember the kids from the toys store or whatever it was.
Learning Express.
Yeah, it was
the Learning Express manager came out too.
Yeah, that was
interesting. Yeah, we I think sold maybe like 10 kendamas to their store or something.
I don't even know.
Which is like so small for like a wholesale, but he came out just to see what kendama jams and events were about, and I think Cal after that, Cal and Skagline started doing.
At the Learning Express.
Yeah, they started doing jams there at the store.
And then next week after that was exams, so he took off a week. Yep, thank goodness.
And that semester was so rough because I was so focused on this and not school. But
then after that, we
made it happen.
We went to Chattanooga, RWB guys. It was a big jam. It was another warm day. It was such a beautiful day.
Yeah, a lot of people from the Georgia Kendama came up, and then all the Alabama guys came up.
If you've never been to Chattanooga, you need to go to Coolidge Park. It's just a really beautiful park right on the river, bridge surrounded by bridges basically.
Yeah.
I went to a music festival there, sick. But Coolidge Park is really cool, and we went there and hung out, and it was a jam.
Yeah, I had a nice meal afterwards.
I met Jero at a store there. I think it was the summer tour. We went to the burrito place. It was like a vegan, like, am I thinking of another time?
That was a different time. It was an RWB
okay.
jam because Matt Rice was there too.
It's all a blur to me, like Chattanooga.
every time you go to Chattanooga, there's kendama and burritos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of that's right.
Yeah. That was the RWB jam.
Okay.
That's when Stod was in town as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. Next town that was Fort Payne, and this is out in the middle of nowhere.
Dude, you watch Alex Mitchell's clips. And like apparently like deer walk up to him and they're just like there.
That basically sums it up.
I haven't seen it, but like to hear their accent and to like go to Fort Payne and to like realize where they're at it's so remote.
It's way out
like,
there.
Like our home is remote. We have like
it feels like ours
from a town
of
1,200.
No, it's like 3,000.
No, it's 1,400 on Google.
Okay, well I believe you. But, so, we feel like we're out in the middle of nowhere, and then we go there, and it's like, okay, so this is what out in the middle of nowhere is like. Yeah. And so, after we finished the event there, we went to State Park. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, that's right. So, okay, there was the Nature Center, had this huge amphitheater stage that we just kind of, like, took over, like, barely. There was, like, hardly anybody in the area, but, like, we had the whole Alex Mitchell family, and then like 2 people from their school, and then Ryan Plord that showed up.
That's basically
after the jam. We went to Little Canyon Park, Little Canyon River, or something like that. Huge waterfall.
It was freaking cool.
Huge, and it was beautiful, and there was like quite a bit of people there, like tourists, and we pretty much went to like so they could show us their local cool spot, and then we could film.
It was a sick spot.
And we filmed a lot the tour video there, and I think everyone got a trick, and that was really exciting.
2 weeks after that, I can't remember why we took a gap there, but we did. Marietta, Georgia. Tell me a little bit about that, because this is when I stopped going because I had to work on work.
Yeah, so
yeah,
we did take a big gap. There was an event happening that.
Oh, it was Dom and the D.
Dom and the D was happening that next weekend, and so then the weekend after that, we decided, go down to Atlanta, and that was the only event that weekend, because we knew it was. I mean, we wanted to spend time with like Fraser and Lyndon, and we went down there, and it happened to be the same weekend that TJ and Wyatt
were at this.
Were in town for. It must have been promos.
It was promos.
Reflecting back now, we had no idea then why they were there, but it was a really good turnout. The Georgia Jams had like a solid amount of people, and then like Wyatt and TJ and Jero showed up after that, and I think like Zach Porter was there as well. And so it was like really good group, and I mean. We went to I think we stayed at Fraser's house, and he lived on the Chattahoochee River. We got coffee that next morning.
You're right, I did go to that.
That was so.
I thought I didn't go to that.
You went to that.
I don't have any memories of Marietta.
Oh really?
None.
We went to Mexican food place.
I remember that.
But
I don't remember the event at all. What the heck was I doing?
Remember there's the huge pavilion, that huge white pavilion. We got tacos across the street. That taco spot downtown Woodstock.
I remember. See, that's I
gotta bring food into it.
Evidently, my memory revolves around food, which I mean, come on, give me a break.
Yeah, so that was so much fun, and that next morning at just like Fraser's spot, you like walk out of his apartment, you go down.
Thanks, Fraser.
The Chattahoochee River, beautiful. We were drinking coffee, playing kendama.
It was something else.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then
finished out in Nashville.
The next weekend, I was like, I thought. In my head, the way that we were scheduling the tour, that this would be our summer event, and I didn't end up doing it because I felt like we hit all the spots where people would drive from
the summer event.
It was like, why would they drive when they just had a jam in their own town? So I decided just to keep it another jam.
And we had a good amount of people
there. Was probably
20.
Yeah, there was about 20 or so,
which is good.
But they were like. There's maybe like 6 locals, and then like the Atlanta guys drove up
Came
again.
Back, yeah.
And then, it was a good time.
But Soul Silver Tour, we wrapped that up. That was a blast, and that's not something I'll be able to do again. I mean, it's just like
I did it again the autumn tour to release the Soul Shape in the pastels.
Yeah.
And that was fun. It definitely like.
It takes a toll.
We hit the timing on this so perfectly to where we were hitting stops where. Good communities were formed, and we're like continuing to develop. The autumn tour, we never reached 30 people, I think, at a stop, and here it was like consistently like Muncie, Wyandotte, even like Chattanooga and like Atlanta were like really big, and
it was a fun time. I mean,
yeah, it was fun.
So
we might do another tour in the future. I don't want to jinx that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be doing a tour in the future. But maybe West Coast. I don't know. I talked to Kevin about the idea, and he's down, but work and everything gets in the way.
I know. I need to get fired.
Work gets in the way of fun.
I work for my dad, so I need my dad to fire me, and then I can go on this tour.
I hope I don't get fired.
You're fired. No more soul.
I hope. Okay, I can go on the tour.
I'm replacing you with Lyndon.
Oh, Lyndon would like that.
Yeah, but we had a good time. If you can travel for events, we'd encourage it. I don't know if you got something to say on that for a couple minutes, but like, make it happen.
Definitely. I mean, the thing is, kendama allows this opportunity, this instant connection with somebody where you don't know them, but because kendama, you can connect and become friends very easily. And like because of that, we got to know Javin really well, and like years afterwards. I mean, even years afterwards, we're still like really great friends. From that first night we met, like random, crazy scenario.
Craziness.
Yeah, just kind of.
If you can do it, because even if
obviously, like with some like, what's the word?
I don't know.
Don't just like go stay at people's house randomly. Like feel out the situation for yourself.
Yeah, I mean.
But I encourage you to kind of like take a small risk or something like that, because you never know. Like, if we didn't go on that weekend because we didn't know anybody, we wouldn't have been friends with Brandon and Javin. And
there's a lot of relationships we kind of developed through this.
Evan, that was the first weekend we'd met Evan too, and so
joined the team.
Evan Hatton, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Evan Deruby was not.
You're right. Sorry, you got to talk about food once again. What did we eat with him? I don't know.
Yeah. Probably burritos.
Yeah, probably.
Oh man, so many more events that
travel
that we could talk on.
Yeah.
But like Freshly Dirty, UYYC, we're doing a collaboration, and so
that spawned out of the travel.
Yeah, like he now has a yo-yo company that we're doing a collaboration with at an event that we're both going to be at.
Super cool. So stuff happens. If you can help it, just go have the experience. Even if it's like a tough experience, like a 15-hour drive to MKO, and you come out of it in the very recent feeling kind of, that was tough. You reflect upon it very fondly. So like, push yourself to go do it. And if you can, just go do it. Travel events and stuff like that. I promise you'll be better off for it. You'll be happier. And anyway. Yeah,
I want to comment below your favorite Dama travel story. In the comments, tell us what your favorite event you've traveled to. Tell us about that travel experience. What was great, what wasn't great.
Because we want to hear all about it.
Or if you haven't traveled to an event, what is your dream event to travel to? A, do you want to drive? B, do you want to fly?
Take a boat.
And
take a train.
what's the story around that?
So let's talk about it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This is episode 3. We'll be here next week. We're enjoying the format and having a lot of fun drinking this bitter, sour.
I actually got sweet near the end as it got colder.
That's funny because I felt the opposite.
I started to get sweet. I was like, what?
I think we got 2 different cups of coffee, but anyway, you want to cheers it? Thanks, guys.